and welcome to the Sonic Lab.
Please take a moment to switch all electronic devices to silent mode.
Please also be aware of the emergency exits, the door you came in and the door in front of you on the left.
Now it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the performance.
This Wednesday evening to this performance by myself, Jennifer Walshe, Jon Leidecker, and we will be joined by Panos Ghikas within the next 10 minutes or so. This is a concert in two halves, and so we're going to do something very, very old first, and then we're going to do something very, very new. It'll run continuously, so there won't be a break. If you want to leave at any point, you're very free to do that. If you have sensory issues, we just want to tell you there'll be very, very quiet sounds in the piece. There'll be very loud sounds, nothing that's going to hurt your ears, because the fantastic technicians here at the Sonic Lab would never permit that to happen. But if there's a part of the piece, a part of the performance that is just not for you and you want to slip out, it's no problem at all. I should tell you that there is footage in the film of raw meat, just sort of putting that out there, and some scenes of butchery. So nothing that you wouldn't see in a regular butcher's shop, maybe. But in general, just to let you know what's coming up. I think I'll talk about what we're going to do second first. So what we're going to do second is really sort of mired in AI, machine learning, the detritus that Silicon Valley CEOs say and that Jon samples and drops into sets. So that will be very much something that's contemporary and cutting edge. But the first half of the performance is a live soundtrack to a film by Caoimhín Brannach called An Gléirt. An Gléirt is Irish. It means the sort of the widening or the brightening, but it has this sort of gesturing towards the idea of revelation or transcendence. And the film was originally constructed as a treatment by my great uncle Caoimhín Brannach back in the 80s. Caoimhín was an outsider artist. He lived alone for his whole life in Knockvicar in County Roscommon, and when he passed away, we found bin bags full of tape cassettes and VHS cassettes and all of these sort of treatments that he had done to tape. So he would make recordings of sound on tape, and then he'd bury the tapes, or he'd expose them to certain astronomical periods, or he would douse them in holy water and then smoke them. So you would end up with these like very gnarled and warbly sort of tape artifacts. So we'll be playing some of those here tonight. He was very interested in the occult, and he was really obsessed with the fact that in Roscommon you have Auni Ghat, which is a cave that's underneath the ground, underneath a rag tree, and it's supposed to be linked via a mythological hellmouth with the caves of Kesh, which are up on a mountain in Leitrim. And one is linked to the idea of a boar, and one is linked to the idea of the sow. And so he really liked this idea that you could sort of affect this magical transformation between Auni Ghat and the caves of Kesh, and somehow you could maybe have peace or enlightenment or transcendence of some sort. So Caoimhín started putting together materials relating to this film back in the 80s, and Cork Film Festival originally commissioned him to make it, and then the Archbishop of Cloyne found out about it and, you know, was not really happy with the idea that there was this occult film made by this outsider artist living up in Roscommon, and so the film was canned. And then in 2015, after he died, Cork Film Festival commissioned me to complete the film. So what you're going to see in the film is you'll see scenes that I shot according to Caoimhín's notes, which were quite detailed and required things like drawing out different Ogham scales from the Book of Ballymote that were supposedly occult, sewing pockets in pillowcases so that he could put pictures in with tapes, and that, you know, his dreams would somehow infuse the sounds on the tapes. Lots of footage of Auni Ghat and the Caves of Kesh, also the Tubernault Holy Well in Sligo. I should say that he was not religious. This was all very much his sort of idiosyncratic, or maybe I should say idiosyncretic, if you'll Excuse the terrible pun. It was his very idiosyncratic, quasi-pagan, very, very sound-focused way of dealing with the world. So when you watch the film, you'll see the footage that I shot, and then you'll also see some of the clips that we managed to retrieve from some of his tapes and some of his VHS cassettes. So that's what will happen first. I think that's covered everything. So thanks for coming.
Wearing loose, comfortable, warm clothing. Lie down flat on your back and relax. Your arms by your side, just slightly apart from your body. Your feet 12 to 15 inches apart. And check that your body is lying in a straight line. Slowly turn your toes up towards your body, drawing your heels away from your body. Stretch and relax.
Slade. I tell you.
Type in the word CAT. And what comes out is a cat. It went the other way. Am I right? Unbelievable.
Because
How is it possible?
they're good enough to fool people.
That's right. How is it possible you took 3 letters and you generated 1 million pixels from it, and it made sense?
1 million. Like, more than that.
Well, that's the miracle.
Man versus machine, it doesn't exist. Like, there's no such thing. Like, we are the machine. The machine is us. The tree is me. If we dissolve binary thinking, we're gonna answer all the questions. This issue is quite political, but I can use fashion to make it sexy and accessible.
And you know the crazy thing? I didn't write these books myself. It's funny, I never had any aspirations of being an author, and I still don't. Not only do you not need to write the books yourself, you don't even necessarily have to pay anyone else to do it.
90% of the time.
Characteristics of sarcasm.
There may be times when it would be helpful to more deeply understand your state of mind and then see your current risk for depression or anxiety. This will help you understand if you should talk to someone. This will help you understand if you should talk to someone.
Like, we are the machine. Yes. Like, we are the all the questions. Fashion. Fashion. To make it sexy.
This will help you understand if you should talk to someone.
Fashion. To make it sexy. Spring, it is almost spring, spring is coming. I don't know who needs to hear that, but spring is coming, spring is coming, spring is coming. First are the crocuses. The crocuses come into bloom. They come into bloom, this sort of vividly shocking purple and gold egg yolk and translucent sort of fluorescent white. The crocuses, but nobody's really interested in the crocuses unless there's a bee curled up inside one of the crocuses and you can get a very, very close-up shot, because you can't make a bouquet of crocuses in your house and take a picture of a matcha tea sitting next to it. the vapor slowly inking into the air. You can't take a selfie with a crocus. It's very difficult to take a selfie with a crocus. You would need to lie down on the ground and sort of squash your face next to the crocus, and even then there's just no guarantee the shot will be usable. So nobody's interested in the crocuses, though the crocuses are there. The crocuses are there. Nobody is interested in the crocuses. And into that gap, into that ecological gap, into that ecological gap where interest in the crocuses has failed to bring traction, into that ecological gap come the self-help cards about spring. That spring is renewal. That spring means that you can start again. That spring means you can take a meme that was popular 6 months ago and just write something about spring on it and share it as a spring item. There's also the guidance, because it's very important to romanticize spring. It can't just be there, it must be romanticized. And there's not just the romanticizing of spring. There's not just the romanticizing of spring. There's the romanticizing of spring on a budget. Most of it involves flowers, most likely tulips. It's possible for us all to romanticize spring on a budget. There's many other flowers that we can introduce into the spring ecosystem. There are hyacinths. Hyacinths, though, pictures in the garden are not enough. You really need to film them in a glass vase. You need to be able to see the roots from the hyacinths. That's very important. And clean roots, not those sort of grubby roots with the green pond stuff growing in the vase because you never quite managed to clean the vase. Perfect large hyacinth bulb growing in it, and those white perfect, roots just down like perfect little squid legs, and the hyacinth blooming above it. That's important. When it comes to other flowers, there's also rules. Daffodils must always be in a vase, and it has to be a glass vase or a collection of glass vases or a large earthenware glass. So if you're the sort of person that lives in a French farmhouse in, 1875, you're set because you've got one of those massive crockery pots. You probably make milk or butter. Is it a churn? Do you churn in those? Do you just store the milk? It doesn't have a cover. It has like a claw. Is it like not a lid, like a claw? Like, I don't know. Anyway, you need one of those, and then what you do is you put the daffodils in them, and they're sort of boho chic. They're all at different angles. It's a sort of thing that, influencers who only film themselves running away from the camera in slow motion in fields would post. Those sort of ones where it's like a woman with long hair, and she's wearing what we call a storybook dress, and she's running away in slow motion into a field. And I'm used to that as an aesthetic from war films where the battle happens and everything's in slow motion, the bombs fly.
So I want to replace the woman.
A young woman.
So I want to replace the woman,
with the hair
have a better face, and remove the girl. What? On that side. I'm using the prompt beautiful woman in a Roman toga. Select all of the women. We are using restore face. Now when we compare the before and the after, you can see that we have a lot of improvement. One thing that sometimes happens is this dark aura around the figure.
The AI isn't good at that.
We believe this is why our descendants will live in the stars. People only do things for other people for 3 reasons: love, money, or force.
Future people. We've got to remember that future people, they're only optional. They don't have to happen. They don't have to happen. Purely optional.
Love doesn't scale.
Love doesn't scale.
Love doesn't scale, so the economy can only run on money or force. Let's stick with money.
Love doesn't scale.
Production of markets creates the economic wealth that pays for everything else we want as a society. Love doesn't scale.
Love doesn't scale.
We believe central economic planning elevates the worst of us and drags everyone down. Markets exploit the best of us to benefit all of us.
He immediately presented with a sort of a, nobody asked for this energy. He still did it anyway, even though nobody asked for
it. We had a problem of pandemics, so we invented vaccines.
We need the water more than you do.
We have a problem of poverty, so we invent technology to create abundance.
We need the water more than you do.
Give us a real-world problem, and we can invent technology that will solve it.
It's not like they're together, it's more of a situationship.
Love doesn't scale.
We need the water more than you do. We need your water.
We believe free markets are the most effective way to organize a technological economy.
Love doesn't scale.
We need your water. We do not drink your water. We use your water to think.
We do not drink your water. We use your water to think.
When they first trained it, it was like, and I said, and then version 2 was version 3. We started getting things that sounded like a person then. It takes a lot of time. You're trying to train it. You've got to train it. It's got to sound, more. like it's going to sound like you've got. It needs to sound more like, you know, like a person does. Less like. Less like.
What could be more exciting than creating a digital twin to build a computer that was built in a digital twin?
Nothing.
This is coherent, but it's useless.
We need the water more than you do.
Still ist die Nacht. Es ruhe die Gäste. In dieser Hause wohnte mein Schatz. Still ist die Nacht. Es ruhe die Gäste. In dieser Hause.
It's okay.
Mein Schatz. Der Doppelgänger.
It's okay.
Du echtes in dieser Hause.
It's okay.
Wo der Doppelgänger.
What?
We had a problem of starvation, so we invented the Green Revolution. We had a problem of darkness, so we invented electric lighting. We had a problem of cold, so we invented indoor heating. We had a problem of heat, so we invented air conditioning. We had a problem of isolation, so we invented the internet.
What could be more exciting than creating a digital twin?
Future humans, just remember, they're purely optional. Thanks very much. Massive thanks to the team at Sonorities for giving us 2 days in this unbelievable lab. Thanks so much to the desk for all the fantastic mixing.